Dire team ban. DC's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. DC's turn to
Imba Spirit.
Dire team pick.
Doing pretty good. Ready to watch game 2.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
The sack.
Dire team pick.
Yeah.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I mean, I think DC was seeing if they could deal with the lone druid,
Reserve
and
time.
they decided that they didn't want to try it again. So they banned it out. I think banning the invoker is a direct response, or is a direct action according to they wanted to first pick the ember, so they picked the ember and banned the invoker because the tornado can be kind of annoying in the lane. Or it's not so bad in the lane. Once the invoker has phase boots, it kind of sucks for ember in the lanes. You can kind of get right click down, but in the early mid game, it's not really super fun for ember. As you have to be very careful about popping your shield or dodging it with slight, and one slight mistake or one small mistake makes your teamfight presence considerably less if you get it purged off.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I mean, Ember had some obscene win rate, so I think that hero is like super broken right now.
Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
The grave is also nice for a lot of their burst damage. I think it's most probably going to be support Lesh. I think that's whenever they pick the Lesh, that's how they run it. So I would assume it would be support Slaughter as well. I don't think they value the offlane Slaughter. I think that's sort of outdated right now, as the hero can't really farm up, and he can get shut down quite easily. And then you essentially just have 3 supports, because this Slaughter is not very strong in the lane. You get punished really heavily and sort of runs around and does whatever a support Slaughter would do. So it works better to have a hero that can actually jungle or farm or catch up or play from behind. Slaughter can kind of play from behind, but without a blink in a lot of games as the game goes later, you don't really thrive that well.
10 seconds
I also really like this
remaining.
Dazzle counter pick, because you can, as you're pushing a tower, you think a fight's going to be coming, you have to pre-weave yourself, and it takes away a lot of the strengths that Slaughter has. Also pretty good versus Diabolic Edict, as it is physical, so with the weave armor up, mitigates a lot of the Leshrax damage as well. So it's a nice response pick to NP's first 2.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Yep.
Dire team pick.
Still the LC in the pool.
10 seconds
The
remaining.
Underlord as well, but Underlord pretty bad versus Ember Spirit, as you really have
5
none of your
seconds
spells really do
remaining.
that much versus him. It's kind of annoying to play. Your shield can get burned off reasonably easy by the Firestorm,
Reserve time.
but not a hero that has any catch potential versus the Ember Spirit, and they do already have the StarLadder, so they have some catch.
DC's
Not taking the
turn to
Silencer, so I wonder if this will be a support or a carry / mid Silencer. So we'll have to see. Their lane.
10
Where did I cut off?
seconds
When what
remaining.
was I saying?
5 seconds
Okay, am I good now?
remaining.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of like how their lanes are kind of ambiguous right now. It's
Reserve
very hard for
time.
DC to tell exactly what they're doing, and so it sort of makes counterpicking or drafting accordingly to how MP is drafting a little bit more difficult. Have to stay on their toes, keep guessing. I'm kind of curious, like you said, a lot of these the stronger offliners being banned out. The Enigma sort of flavor of the month. DC does take the
Dire
clockwork.
team pick.
So grabbing up one of the last few left in the pool, and we'll see if NP goes for it here or saves their offliner for last.
Life Stealer.
DC's turn to pick. Ten seconds remain.
Terror Blade.
Ooh.
Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining.
I think they could
5
run
seconds
offline
remaining.
Lifestealer. They've done it in the past.
Reserve
I mean,
time.
we'll have to see. You don't want Lifestealer Slardar versus you're very much playing on a timer whenever you're playing Lifestealer Slardar versus a Terrorblade and a Dazzle. They have so much minus armor. Terrorblade scales extremely well versus the Ember, or I mean versus the Lifestealer. Once you have like Mantiscati, then and Dragonlance, the game becomes almost impossible for the
DC's turn to ban.
for the Lifestealer to play, and you're playing very much around. Lifestealer Slaughter is a strategy very much based around jumping one hero, bursting them, and then taking the fight from there. And as a 4v5, that's their biggest strength. It's an extremely strong combo, but DC
10
having the
seconds
Dazzle, so they have a
remaining.
defensive support to save whoever gets jumped. Terrorblade doesn't really care if he gets jumped
5
as long as he
seconds
stays alive
remaining.
long enough to get the Sunder off. So overall, an extremely good Terrorblade pick, and I think
Reserve
that
time.
sort of gives NP a little bit of incentive to maybe put the Lifestealer offline so they can pick a core that matches up better versus Terrorblade. Lifestealer does pretty well versus Ember Spirit. Has the rage, so the chains don't bother him too much until his rage is down. But I'm still not sure if they want to run the Silencer support, if they're running the Slaughter offlane, if it's Silencer mid, and they're going to pick an offlane here. If it's a Lifestealer, there's a lot of ambiguity. So let's see.
DC's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Dazzle, not a hero that ever gets to the point in far and wide so he can
Reserve
have
time.
items to purge it off. So they will have that small window where they can jump in with the Slaughter Lifestealer and then Global at the same time. So Dazzle won't be able to get the Grave off. So if the Slaughter does get a quick blink or even just a reasonably timed link, they will still have the potential to play that Slaughter Lifestealer draft or look at these pickoffs, but it is on a considerably more of a timer as they will have the global. But I really like this Bounty Hunter pick. You almost always want to have a Vision Hero versus Slaughter Lifestealer so you can tell where they're coming from, when they're going to be going for these jumps, and you can play around it that way. Okay, so yeah. I mean, they're semi-unusual picks. The Leshrac has been coming more into prominence lately. Silencer, a pretty situational pick, but they wanted something to counter this. They obviously wanted to go for the Lifestealer after the Silencer, so picking a Silencer beforehand. So they had some sort of a, this uncounterable initiation combo early on until people get BKBs or Mantas to purge off the silence. So they had a game plan. They wanted to play the Slaughter Lifestealer, and they wanted to have some assurance. The Storm Spirit as well with the global. It's a few seconds of protection as they can't really turn, crush them with any abilities. Ember Spirit really the only hero with any lockdown on DC. So other than those chains, won't really have a way to lock the Storm Spirit down. Although the chains can be quite effective as roots now do work on him. But yeah, like I was saying, I really like this Bounty Hunter pick because it gives them a Vision Hero against NP's draft, so they're going to be able to scout around where this Lifestealer Slaughter is going, especially at nighttime, being able to scout them out and then play accordingly. We get preemptive Graves, get the weave down really early on, and but yeah, I think NP definitely has to be very careful. This Terrorblade, if he gets a good start, can get massively out of control and just sort of dominate the game. They do sort of have the Storm Spirit to try and deal with it. Hero that can be quite good versus the Terrorblade if he has a good start. Get up to some bigger items, get a Shivas at a reasonable timing, then you can punish this Terrorblade quite a bit, but it's all theoretical.
Very, very true. Is this a point though where you just send the Slardar to jungle, or do you actually commit him to the lane? Because, I mean, the Terrorblade Dazzle duo on its own, I think, is going to be a lot of pressure.
We'll have to see what he starts with if he goes down there. The Bounty Hunter will most likely start down there as well. You also sort of have the double-edged sword that if you do go for the Iron Talon and start in the jungle, then the Bounty Hunter may stick around and try and screw with you. So obviously he may start in this offlane and try and keep the Bounty Hunter there, so the Storm can have a good start versus the Ember Spirit. As Ember gets level 4 or so, as long as he doesn't tank the Remnant, his Flame Shield will stay up, and they have potential to kill the Storm. So we'll have to see what MSS goes for. If he goes for that more of that aggressive style, trying to keep the supports in the lane, it looks like that is what he's gonna do. Actually, they may be going for a dual lane as he does get the Wind Lace. So
oh, he's like Rose. Yeah, he's turning around, getting the staff shield.
Okay, yeah. So we'll see if they go for some sort of a dual lane, as Clockwork, not the strongest offlane in their worlds, so they may try and do some sort of dual lane and enable MSS a little bit more, and give Aoi a little bit tougher of a lane, so the Slaughter has a little bit better of a time. As you said, he would have some issues against his Terrorblade Dazzle and the Bounty Hunter roaming around as well. Terrorblade Dazzle, not a ton of kill potential, so I don't think he would have the worst time in the world. And it's definitely a lane where a Slaughter can get XP, so I like that he's going for this aggressive build. Or not necessarily like aggressive build, but just a build where he can stay in the lane and try and get as much XP as possible, be a pain to this Terrorblade. And also, once he gets to a reasonable amount of levels, has level 4 or 5, a couple points in the stun, the Leshrac can rotate down before the Sunder comes out, and they definitely have the potential to get a kill in this Terrorblade if Dazzle's even slightly out of position.
So it's basically, at least the first 15-20 minutes is going to be reliant on Saxa and SVG. They're positioning them, making sure that their TPs are insanely fast, their reactions are on point. I think those are two keys to both teams. Oh, Misery grabbing the Bounty Rune right in front of AUI's face.
Yeah, not
sucks.
the biggest of deals. Doesn't change too much. It's just the safe laner gonna get whatever first item he's going for, whether it's the Oob or the Blightstone or the boots. A little bit slower, but not the biggest of deals. And they are actually gonna be going for the aggro tri-lane, so setting the Lifestealer solo versus the Clockwork matchup that Lifestealer is definitely fine with. He just have the Feast versus Strength hero, so the Lifestealer are gonna have a nice time there. And this aggro tri-lane should do quite well against DC's lane, so I really like this laning setup from NP. Doing this sneaky smoke into the trees, trying to get his first blood as well. So early play, I really like a lot from BC, or from NP. I'm sorry.
And this is going to make so much space mid for Envy, just forcing Misery to stick down here at bottom and react to this tri-lane. MSS taking a lot of damage, having the Slitherine Crush get away, and there's a very fast Metamorphosis coming out. So Resolution just gonna harass SVG. He's taking a lot of damage there. MSS, and there's the TP out. Very soon he's not gonna be able to do that. I'm sure Misery's gonna be going into a Shuriken very soon. Oh no, SVG shrined before MSS could get there. Oh, that sucks so bad. Maybe it was a heat of the moment thing. So, top this Clockwork, he's having a good time. Already 6 denies on Moon Meander. Like, AUI is feeling the hurt right now.
Yeah, 7 now. AUI having 5 denies though, so the lane going about even so far, but it goes a little bit longer. The Lifestealer gets boots, gets up to those phase boots, and the Clockwork is gonna start a rougher and rougher time. We didn't talk about this mid matchup too much, but the Air Spirit, Storm Spirit used to be quite a Storm favorite matchup because the Emperor really didn't have any kill potential on the Storm, and you could always break his shield if he just misplayed a little bit and got hit by the Remnant. But now with the roots, the Storm from zipping away, the Storm can still last it just fine. Having a decent amount of damage, having a lot of armor, so you both can sort of just chill, keep even farm. But the Ember Spirit gets level 6, the Storm has to play very, very careful, and the game, you have to be very, very precise in how you play the game so that you don't get caught by some bounty rotation in and then give up a kill. Then this Ember Spirit gets to the point where he can solo kill you, and that's not really the position you want to be in as a Storm Spirit. So early on, EE doing quite well in CS, up to 12 right now, so a good start for the Storm Spirit.
Oh, Misery. Yeah, that gives Vision instant sentry deny there. This aggro tri-lane from NP doesn't feel, at least so far, in this first 3 minutes, it doesn't feel like it's really accomplishing too much. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I guess it's making it harder for Resolution to deal with the lane, but
yeah, it's making it a little bit hard for him to farm, but not the biggest steal in the world. He does have the Poor Man's Shield, and none of NP's heroes really great at harassing or committing a ton for a kill, as they do have the Shadow Wave to always keep pushing the lane in if NP does start looking like they want to go for some sort of a play. So this really nice defensive lane from DC deals quite well with the aggro tri-lane of NP. And as they were aggro tri-lane, they're all sort of running low on levels. At the very least, his top lane is breaking even for NP, and the mid lane doing quite well for EE as well. So looking pretty good in some of their other lanes. But we said NP is definitely the ones who really want to have a good start, so they can, enable the Storm Spirit, get some Lifestealer bombs going on the Slaughter. But his blink is going to be quite delayed, and they really don't have too many move makers besides him. The Storm can kind of get active early on. Maybe with a smoke with the Lesh down to the bottom lane once he's level 6, has Arcane Boots, something like that. But besides that, NP is sort of limited on options till the Slaughter has his Blink Dagger.
no, they might actually catch themselves a Bounty Hunter. No, he's got Shadow Walk. He's fine. I really feel like with a support silencer, you want to get the ball rolling for your team, and so far, all he's done is sap experience, and I mean, he's poor. This is a poor support. How is that really going to affect NP? Envy's had a decent lane, since he hasn't had this Bounty Hunter messing with him. The Lifestealer may not have, gotten a kill in lane yet. But, actually, with the supports here, that might happen. As there we are, open wounds. Rose does fall for Moon Meander. And AUI taking the cake there. He's actually going to be able to farm himself some cogs as well.
The creep sniped him. He was at like 10 HP and the one range creep attack got him. So Moon getting XP from that as well. So only 1 or 2 creeps away from level 6. So not too sad about that, as well as both the supports were using a lot of time and AUI completely out of mana. So does get the kill and coming back up to this top lane, has tranquil boots now as well. Definitely not too sad about that trade, even though Aoi has the phase boots and is doing pretty well. Okay, with that trade.
That's tons of space though bottom for resolution. I mean, he doesn't have to deal with any supports now. Like, I'd say that's great.
Yeah, has the treads up. The aggro trialing that MP put on did have some sort of effect in that it forced supports to be down there. So
yeah, Rose getting caught in the cogs. Their hook shot was missed, but it looks like Rose is still going to get gunned down along with that rocket. So Moon getting his revenge.
Yeah, forcing this bounty hunter to play around bottom for quite a while, keep resolution safe, and make sure he gets good farm on. Wasn't able to rotate on middle off, so.
Oh, wait, we go. Big ball lightning onto the Terrorblade there. That actually happened a lot faster than I figured it would. Little setup. Terrorblade just melted. I always forget how little health he has. He's just all armor.
Yeah, it was a really nice aggressive move. After I think he had pushed up mid, goes back to the shrine, heals up, and then they smoke down to this bottom lane. Stick onto this Terrorblade and get a quick kill. Looks like they may get this tower as well, but DC doesn't look like they want to give this up for free. We're taking a lot of heroes down here and are going to force NP off, so they at least get the kill, don't get the tower, but you know, still okay with that. Moon, all the meanwhile, farming up at top, working towards that blade mail. AOI TP's back up to top and is gonna start working on the armlet, but they do get the kill. But you know, resolution immediately back to farming and knows there's gonna be no pressure on him for a long time as the lifestealer TP's back up to top. So DC, while the Terrorblade does go down, they're not too sad about that. And all the meanwhile, the Ember was farming mid, so they may get a nice kill, but it's not the greatest trade in the world. They do get some XP on their supports, but overall, I think DC is perfectly fine with the Terrorblade dying there.
It's not the biggest thing, and now the tower, the enemy tower is going to be sieged up by resolution, and MSS really can't do anything. Bounty Hunter's just harassing him out. Looks like it might be a free tower pretty soon. I think if he had another level of metamorphosis. During all this, we actually getting a kill on Rose. Moon getting gunned down by Eternal Envy. Now we running for his life. Envy balling up. Everyone's just bouncing around all over the place. Wee's running away. Yeah. Pops the regen rune, and now he's back, ready to fight. Searing Chain's not connecting there on Envy.
He completely out of mana now as well, so can't really contest him at all for these mid waves for a fair bit of time now. So we're gonna continue to be able to free farm. Has this Aqua and gonna start working towards the Veil. 300 gold, and he may actually go down here. Only has enough mana for one remnant. Does have the Soul Ring, so should be okay. But does have the triple remnant.
Yeah, he had a wand. Yeah. But I mean, this is a Storm getting pressured out of his lane. This isn't, you know, Envy getting some space so that he can get a decently fast Bloodstone. This is, you know, this is more pressure, and he's not on a hero like an alchemist who can go hit the jungle for a little while and magically have crap loads of gold just by having the right skill set. Like, painful. But Envy's back in there, actually doing a good chunk of damage to Misery, but now he's in the center of both, falling low.
Oh,
the silence. Oh man, Envy going right back in, actually dodging all around. He gets ripped up by Wee. What are you doing, Envy? Rose missing out on the split earth. We might be able to get out alive. This shallow grave just gonna try to help it out. SVG was there. He was hoping he'd get some int, but that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it was a really nice play from DC, the bounty hunter being there right when the Storm TV'd back in. We having a defensive remnant. He's a little agitated, but
oh man,
yeah, he had a defensive remnant back, so whenever he tried to drop the remnant to remnant in, he had to bounce back first, and it gave just enough time for E to get the zip off. So missed that, but then trying to get a turnaround kill, and the bounty hunter fading into invis right before the attack hit, so not able to get that kill, and the Storm does go down, and his TP is down as well. So when he spawns, he's just gonna have to walk to a lane, and all the meanwhile, Clockwork rotating to mid was farming top a little bit, and now a lot of NP heroes in mid. The Slaughter is still extremely far from his blink, only 60 gold right now, and the Lifestealer pretty far from his armlet as well. So DC looking pretty happy with how the lanes are going so far for them.
Very true. So it's looking like they're just kind of strapping themselves up. They're gearing up, getting behind this Ember Spirit, going to be riding that Imba train down. What's this question? What? What's he question marking?
Question mark, lol.
Don't question mark, man. Gonna tilt the casters. Headphones creating issues. Switch to PCs already. Okay.
Aren't they back at their team house?
Maybe that's... Maybe it's in shambles. Maybe Suns fan is actually like a sweatshop owner. And all of DC are like, please, give us good equipment. They gotta win games to eat.
Some PC issues.
Yeah.
Be a little irritated from how Dota Pit went, so a little bit on edge from as far as PC issues go, but they do finish off this bottom tower. Resolution gonna have free reign of all of this jungle now. Maybe a little bit scared of sort of a Storm Spirit Lifestealer rotation as they both are off the map right now, but AOI did use the Infest on a creep, so I'm not looking to make any rotations for the next a couple of minutes. So Resolution gonna have quite a bit of free time to farm this jungle, get the Dragonlance up, and with this meta right here, they may look to pressure mid tower as Resolution is running over quite a few years of PC congregating here.
Oh, he might get caught out here. He is hugging his tower pretty hard. He's got SVG there to just help push people back. And with that Arcane Curse last word combo, Resolution getting healed right back up because of this dazzle. Great job. And there we are. Like you said, there's the Metamorph, pressure onto the tower, baiting a fortified. NP don't have much that they can do to really answer this push. It's down. We going right into that veil, very close to having it. And I think that's really when hell is going to be raised.
Yeah, and like we talked about in the draft, NP's draft is very focused around finding these individual pickoffs, globaling, and then blowing up a couple of heroes, 1 hero, 2 heroes at the start of the fight with the Storm Spirit, with the Slaughter jumps. Oh, with this Lifestealer, but if they don't have the capability to jump them online, then DC is kind of able to just walk up these towers and take them down, and they're taking advantage of that early on before the Slaughter has Blink Dagger, or the Storm has the items to be able to ball into these fights and still have enough mana to continue fighting. But MSS taking advantage of all that time where DC is grouped up and does get up 1,000 gold farming down the spot lane, so slowly working towards his Blink, about halfway there. Misery only level 4, so the track not on the line yet. Still needs a couple of levels for that, so DC's fighting potential a little bit less.
Doesn't show if Tome's available. I'm sure by now it's already been used. Originally, I remember people were speculating with Tome that was going to make Bounty even stronger. You know, he could do his stuff, then get to level 6 and not have to worry about too much. But we can see he's still weak, though he is baiting MSS right back into the Resolution. Yep. So just distracting this Slardar from being able to help out mid as Wee's getting gone on by 3. Rose, company, all helping to take down Wee. And
that is the combo we're talking about.
Yep. Yeah, you said that earlier. Just hit that silence as soon as everything happens, as soon as the initiation pops. And there really is not much DC can do about it.
He may be looking to go for a Eul's a little bit later in the game on the Ember Spirit, or just a Blink Dagger and try and stay mobile and not get jumped. We'll have to see what he does go for, but I would assume it'd either be the Blink, the Blade Mail, Eul, something like that, some sort of defensive item, or an item that keeps him from getting jumped. And in these messy situations with the global coming out, the Slaughter Crush, or the Storm jumping in, whatever it may be, Storm not having the best of games right now, only the Arcane's, the Soul Ring, and 800 gold right now, so gonna be a reasonably late Bloodstorm, probably 17-18 minutes. His current farm rate keeps up, so DC is definitely okay with how the Storm is farming right now, as he is really the only hero they have.
Hook shot onto the Lifestealer, they catch him in the cogs. Misery's there to help throw the shuriken at him. Moon chases him down with that cog. Yep. Pops him down with the old battery assault.
Very nice scouting for Misery, finding this life stealer, getting people to migrate over, get the kill, and now with his bottom lane pushed in by Resolution, they're gonna be able to take this tower as well. So very nice team rotation, finding that kill and able to snowball it into a tower as the global is down as well, and MSS is still working on having that blink dagger. So DC continuing to take advantage of this, these windows where NP aren't able to fight, and that's sort of the thing with the silencer strategy, where you jump in with initiator, you blow a hero up, and you global, is that it only works once every 2 minutes. So for that small period of time after the global is used, DC is able to make a lot happen. They get a tier 2 tower, and Resolution continues to top the charts farm-wise, working towards that Manta now after having the Dragonlance and the Aqua, so he's definitely sitting pretty.
And this is probably the most terrifying thing of the Terrorblade. He can snowball with so incredibly little going his way. Add to that, he's got a Dazzle who, honestly, Soxa's had some great positioning, great reactions lately. And then they have Misery just keeping an eye on this StarLadder at all times. Probably one of the best keys to help them take down Terrorblade. But pops the Shrine by himself, dodging out the hook shot. Oh, man. But
Nice
Moon
cogs.
does cog up, yep. Keeping MSS from being able to help react with his team.
Yep, forces a couple of TPs over, so all of them keep by this mid lane now, except for the life stealer who they saw, so gives a lot of space for Weehad to farm off this top lane. It is going for the blink daggers, so gonna just play around them. NP has very, very squishy supports in the silencer and the Lesh, so if he is able to find them, can burst them extremely easily once he has more points up in the fire round. It does have 2 points in it now, so has a lot of burst potential. With the blink, we'll be able to get in, blow them off extremely easily if they have vision to find them. Once again, it goes back to this Bounty Hunter pick. A really, really nice last pick. I'm not sure if NP expected. Ban out the Ogre, so banned out a core buffer. It's pretty good with the Terrorblade and the Ember Spirit, but DC opting for that Vision Hero, and it's paid off in dividends so far. Bounty Hunter pick, while it doesn't seem like it's doing too much, getting these really deep wards, letting them see where NP is moving. Like, they have this ward deep behind the Dire top tier 2 tower, and so they know that nobody's storming this top lane, no one's even around there. They have this ward by the Dire secret shop. All these amazing wards put down by this Bounty Hunter, so they know that.
Oh, MSS, he catches out the clockwork, and here's the AUI ready to fight. They actually get him in the split earth, and he's down. -2. Very, very fast engaging. That's just the name of the game for NP. They have to have these surgical, very fast, explosive pickoffs, and they're going to catch out this Roche now. MSS running in, getting the corrosive haze on a Misery. Good to keep an eye on that pesky little shit stain. Oh man, Bounty is, I think, one of the Bounty and Techies, I think, are the 2 hardest to play against heroes if the person knows what they're doing.
Yep, Envy about to finish up this Bloodstone, so only 500 gold away. And I have not the greatest timing ever, but still a decent timing.
Oh, he catches SVG. They actually get the global silence off. SVG gonna be able to move out there. MSS keeps trying to Slitherine Crush, but moves there with a battery assault. Meanwhile, AUI in the center of all of DC. Jumps inside of a creep, jumps right back out. Moon still has 5 until he can battery assault again, and NP keep moving in and out and in and out. They're going for this fight. They catch Ember Spirit, they grab him with the splitter, and then down he goes as well. Another -2.
Yeah, Moon may go down as well.
Oh, MSS, he grabs Moon!
2 right clicks.
Oh, the Shuriken, not enough. And with the Blade Mail, Moon falls before. No, actually, it was MSS first. That's still -2.
Yep, very nice for NP. The Bloodstone completed now as well, so a very good fight. Didn't even have the global for that fight, but just constantly in and out, like you said, with the StarLadder. And that's sort of the advantage they have. DC, until this Clockwork has Aghanims, which he is working on, they're sort of a one and done in, and unless they're chasing you, then they really don't have the means to constantly get in and out like NP does with the StarLadder and Storm. They're very much about getting a hook, getting some tracks in, the Ember Spirit rushing in and chasing you until you all die, but these fights where it gets a little bit chaotic, heroes are bouncing all over the place. They aren't amazing at that, aren't amazing at catching heroes over and over again, more about just chasing them down. So, and taking a good fight here. Storm didn't have the Bloodstone complete, it's not getting any charges. Still definitely happy with that fight, is NP, as we picking up the bots, so opting to go for the blink after the bots. instead of before, as they continue to split and push these lanes out. Trying to get farm on this Terrorblade is... MP still does have a Slaughter and a Lifestealer versus a Terrorblade, so when he does get up to that Manta, that Scotty, then MP definitely has to be worried, so definitely have this clock on their mind and are going to be looking to make more plays in the near future, I think, as MSS moving down to bottom invis with Lifestealer inside, but Remnant's out and they're not going to find anything here.
It feels like on the side of DC, their control feels very limited in terms of fights. Like they're I don't know if there's the proper term for it, like corralling the enemy around, keeping them in a certain area, keeping tabs on them, really, I guess, just fight control, keeping the tempo of the fight and the positioning there. It feels very weak on their side.
Dire's middle tower
Is there any particular item pickups that are viable within the next, 10 minutes or so that they might be going for in order to make up for that weakness?
I mean, I think they're just going to try and play around this Terrorblade. That's sort of the style they want to go for, playing around the Terrorblade. Getting the Manta up, the Ember Spirit, getting this blink, trying to dodge their initial initiation, having vision of it, getting the jump themselves instead with the Ember having the blink or the Clockwork getting a really good hook on a key hero, and then just letting this Terrorblade get to town, right-clicking. But as of now, just looking to split the map, have the Terrorblade get up some items. As you can see by their positioning, just flying back, trying to avoid the Slaughter running around with the Lifestealer inside, and if they aren't finding these kills, the Lifestealer is not going to keep up in farms. He is just getting the passive tick gold and not really getting any kills, not really farming any creeps right now. And you see, it's very obvious that MP is going for a move right now, as the bot lane is pushing in. Clockwork very good versus the Slaughter Lifestealer in that regard as well, because you can be across the map and just pushing these lanes in, so giving your team for information so you know that the Slaughter's not farming bottom, so he's most probably ganking with the Slaughter, which he is. So DC continuing to farm around the map. We TPing all the way down to bottom, so we do have another nice deep ward on this hill, so we can see if they're coming and splitting that up even more. How'd he goes?
Yep. Saw Envy coming from a mile away.
And now the hook on mid, just pulling them around the map. They're going to get this nice support kill on SVG, and they take the tower afterwards. So you see some really masterful positioning around the map, just pulling them around. And Resolution actually going to try for the Roshan, so they're getting that kill. He does have wards here, so they see them go into this pit, so they know they're here. They may try and fight them. We'll have to see.
Yeah, they're looking a little afraid there. The global silence is just so strong. It's such an integral part of their toolkit. But they still go in, and they grab Moon Meander. The Grave is up, though, so he's going to be there. He's going to at least get some of that battery assault off, but the silence is right back up as now AUI running for his life. This Terrorblade just hits so hard.
Yeah,
and
the Storm did go down in that
back.
fight. Denied himself, but does lose some Bloodstone charges, and not really what you want to have on your Storm Spirit. Didn't even get the charge from the Clockwork, and they do get the Roshan now. And he's zipping all the way from bait. Oh no, just zipping a little bit, healing up at the Shrine, and then trying to get back to his team. He may have some more computer issues. Kind of unfortunate, but yeah, DC getting that Roshan and realizing that if they do give up pickoff somewhere on the map, then MP can immediately go for Roshan. That's really what they wanted to do. Realizing, the plan MP had and splitting them across the map, we have with a very aggressive TD bottom and reacting just in time, and then getting the pick off mid and immediately snowballing into the Roshan. DC really understanding their timings and MP's timings and playing around it, kiting them around the map really, really well.
So Saksa here has himself a Helm of the Dominator. I know usually it would end up being on a core hero. Is it on him just because Ember Spirit and Terrorblade, they're just going to be so full of items so soon that they want the longevity of it, of the aura for the team, or is there something more that a Dazzle can achieve with a Helm that a Terrorblade or an Ember Spirit can't?
I mean, neither of those heroes really like to build that item. It doesn't typically fit into their the classic item build, and you generally want to have one on your team just because the auras, they're extremely good. Also, you can get the Ice Ogre creep, especially good versus Slaughter Lifestealer, can have huge impact and keep heroes alive quite a bit. So just armoring all of them up along with his weave. The Terrorblade just naturally tanky to Ember with the Veil and the Aquila. So he has a lot of armor as well. So just continuing to make them tanky. The creep you can also use for vision to scout around, so just them play these team fights even more, just slipping around, not letting. Another pause.
So it just comes down to basically someone needs to carry it, and why not the Dazzle?
Yeah, and it's also especially good this game because the armor, the vision against NP's lineup's extremely good. And just continuing to Sudoku.
Oh, okay, so I guess in the heat of the moment, we just didn't notice how he dropped.
I wonder what happened actually, because I didn't realize he died.
Maybe he misclicked?
Zap.
He may have misclicked his blood zone like at a high HP or something.
He does move his items around a lot. He's very picky about where he's got, like, slot-wise, so he might have, like, double-clicked while he was moving.
I don't know, obviously, I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but we can go back and look after the game. But a little bit of friendly banter going on, but DC get this top lane pushing it out, and yeah, immediately back down to bottom. It's able to actually pressure the Storm Spirit, not something you used to be able to see before these route changes, but pushing in this bottom lane, and he will break his shield.
Catch out SVG. Yep. He was trying to do some deep warding. Yeah, they ping out the ward that SVG placed. He got caught out by the clockwork and just very, very slowly died. It's actually pretty sad.
Yep, they pre-weave up top, have all these illusions just pounding on the tower along with the catapults, and we pushed in this bottom lane, forced the enemy to go another wave, push this in, and with the silencer down, there's just no way they can take this fight top. DC continuing to just slowly grow their net worth lead as Resolution working towards that Scotty, so 27k gold, about halfway there. With that, it's gonna make this Lifestealer's game just absolutely miserable.
Yeah, he's somewhat behind the curve in terms of the items that he should have at the moment. Not even the most farmed on his own team. I don't think he's been a part of enough action. I've noticed a lot of Lifestealers, they like to fight so that they can just, you know, get a substantial lead on the enemy. They get the gold from the kill, the enemy dies, loses gold, isn't farming that whole time. And I think that's a key part of a Lifestealer's farming that's missing. Tower falls. A Terrorblade getting caught out. It's only an Aegis right there and a silence being used, so gonna stop the Sunder from going off, but now DC are going to get back. I'd say an Aegis for a tower is totally worth it at this point.
Yeah, it is a T3 tower as well, so quite nice for them, and they do have that Ice Ogre creep like we talked about, so making them all considerably tankier. Resolution up to 4k gold, almost has that Scotty. At the very least, Envy getting a Bloodstone charge, and almost has the Orchid, has both Oblivion stabs, so just needs the recipe, but may actually be going down here, gets murdered.
Got caught out there. Yep.
Out of position to get the hook.
Does ball off there.
Looks like they may want to go back in mid, actually.
They've got the bounty
keeping down the bottom.
The bounty just got himself the mech, so I mean they're geared up. And they actually grabbed that bounty. Oh man, spotted him out, tore him apart very, very quickly. Going in for Wee now. Remnants out. Envy not. Ooh, he actually does get enough mana to grab Wee, keep him in place. They get the open wounds up, and we will also fall there. DC hanging around just a little too long, getting caught out. P are very strong as a group, and I think DC might have just let that slip their minds for just a moment.
Yeah, trying to push in that mid wave, got caught just slightly out of position. Go down, but all their other lanes are in, and Stockcell walked up to top and pushed that out. Shadow Wave extremely good at pushing out these lanes. Very nice to have with a vision hero like Bounty Hunter. A hero like Dazzle that can push off the lanes as a support, so getting these lanes out, a clock, you know, whenever you have an offlaner like a Clockwork or a Slaughter or something like that that doesn't like to farm these lanes, you want a support that does, so that way you have more heroes that are able to get these lanes out, more vision, while this Bounty Hunter and Clockwork do their job of just scouting around, getting what farm they can. It does have the Ags on Clockwork, so quite farmed as well, so DC definitely in a pretty good position.
Sorry, I had to deal with some chat spam there. I think we're good now. My chat experience.
Yeah, it's DC pushing out these lanes, grouping up, making sure they don't feed any kills to NP, and pushing out the lanes with Rocket. Ember can always TP their lane and then zip immediately back, so able to keep all these lanes out while still being together as a team, and already taking down this top shrine, and now looking like they take down the bottom with the Scotty coming in for Terrorblade. So DC, they've hit that sort of a timing where the Terrorblade does have the 3 items. They need to just manhandle this lifestealer, so.
He's at a magical point. What else would you keep going from here, though? I mean, Butterfly, maybe? Just so he can't right-click you down, or...?
Butterfly, BKB, Lincoln's, all those are okay. We'll see how the game progresses to the point where he gets to where he can get those items. See how he decides.
Ooh, they get the weave off, but that might not be... Yeah, that's not enough to save that Dazzle. Not when all of NP converge on him.
It was a really nice play from Resolution right there, actually. He turned the illusion and smacked MSS on the side with it, so he wasn't able to blink and catch the Terrorblade, which is what he wanted to do. Instead, just had to go and force over to the Dazzle. May have actually been good for NP, as if they had gone for that Terrorblade, may have gotten counter-initiated on and lost the fight. We don't know, but it was a nice play from Resolution.
Talking about initiated on, we catches out the Leshrac, gets himself a gem, and gets out of there.
Huge.
NP a little too late, as NV was trying to grab that gem, but instead just wastes a little bit of mana. That's strong.
Forgot to mention that earlier, that Rose did pick up the gem, so try and help out NP in that vision game that we talked about. You know, need to see where the DC heroes are so you can get that clean jump. If you're not bowling up here at the start of the fight versus Terrorblade Dazzle lineup, then you would just get absolutely mauled after the initial jump. It doesn't go well, but now handing the gem over into the hands of the bounty hunter, so the tables have been turned, and now DC has that tool to help get that extra vision along with the bounty hunter's natural ability to all that info.
So the vision game is going to be very, very hard for NP now, and that's very important against bounty hunter clockwork combo. Hook missing off the mark. MSS gets out of there. Blaze
was very close, and he does have the Aghanims on the clockwork, so not the biggest deal. He missed already back up. That 12-second cooldown, very nice pickup for him. He's going to be going for the 4-step next, so continuing to enable his slipperiness and let DC continue to push out these lanes and just make sure they don't get initially jumped. And it looks like Resolution is going to go for that BKB, so he's going to not really care about the Leshrac and the Silencer, which is some of the biggest reasons he's dying. Oh, the Storm's Magic game, pull, all of that. So I really like this pickup. It's very, very safe, and that's what DC needs right now. Is as the game goes later and later, they definitely benefit from this. So unless the Storm is getting just a ton of items, once he gets to the point where he has 6 items or so, as the Shivas has a defensive item, all these things, then this Terrorblade is going to be king of the game. So going for that defensive item, keeping him alive, being him as the net worth leader, which he is by almost 5k gold on top of the Storm now. So DC in a commanding position and keeping that vision up because of that gem. He's still having a couple of wards up in some odd positions, but
never refuse go.
DC has controlled almost the entire map and continuing to outfarm them.
And I mean, the real problem is NP, they're forced, if they want to step outside of their base. I mean, we just had a line drawn by Terrorblade. Resolution's probably saying, you know, they can't get past that point without being grouped as 5. Except maybe Envy, since he can just ball lightning out. But besides that, like, they're going to be grouped up. So if you see him pass there, you know, that's a sign that there's going to be a fight most likely, or that the rest of the team's there to kill you. Some baiting from Envy. We catches him with the chains.
Pick up the Yules so he can purge off the chains now. Reduces DC's ways to kill him to just the hook now, really, and then getting right click down, or the Storm running out of mana. So Envy in a much better position than he was, and looking for that jump, but the track on the Slaughter is so hard to find these initiations because of the track, because of the Bounty Hunter getting these deep wards down, and all the meanwhile Resolution pushing in top, so DC or NP really wants to respond, but they also want to take a fight here as the lifesteal is infested, but continuing to get these tracks off. So on both of the initiators, they have these tracks, and they know the lifestealer is inside one of them. So
ooh, dire scan revealing that. Yep. I mean, they would know that Moon's probably hanging out on the high ground regardless, so they scan just to make sure that they get that information. MSS is going for a Shadow Blade at this point. Wouldn't, at this point, a Lotus be better to be able to purge off potential tracks and whatnot? Is a Shadow Blade really that valuable?
Yeah, I mean, this game is all about initiation for NP, so just getting that little bit of an edge, you know, maybe finding one extra pickoff with the Shadow Blade or getting that perfect initiation that they need. If this fight doesn't go super well in the first 5 seconds of the fight for NP, then it's going to quickly turn into a disaster once the global wears off and this Terror Blade starts tearing into heroes. They only have one Ghost Scepter on NP currently. SVG not in the best of realms as far as net worth goes, only 2,700, so it's gonna have issues working towards that Ghost Scepter. And yeah, I think the Shadow Blade is a necessary pickup. Is NP really not in the greatest positions right now. They've sort of missed their prime draft-wise. The Terror Blade getting very farmed, has the BKB now, going to be going for that Butterfly most probably next. And with that, Mage try and siege high ground. Find a nice pick-up bottle.
Very quickly, NV flies down there, takes down Wii. That's going to give them a good chunk of space. I mean, there's still, you know, threat of Terror Blade. He's going to have his illusions pushing in, but the Ember Spirit catch for a lot of these supports means they get some breathing room for the next 45 seconds.
Yep, and you can see DC positioning out around this Roche pit, so they know it's up. This is their timings with the Roshan, with the BKB and the Terror Blade, so when they want to go in the game, or at least take a fight that maybe leads to ending game. But P knowing that as well, and sort of coming back to last game with these Roche fights being absolutely key. Both teams knowing how important the Roshan is for this game and focusing very heavily on it. But NP can't come into the pit, and neither really can DC, as the Ember is still dead. But once this Ember is up, then DC should be able to just walk right into this pit with a pre-weave, and as long as they have vision, which they do have this nice ward on the cliff, so they can see a little bit of NP around.
Oh, mid lane, a lot's going on. We got the global silence. They take down Resolution, actually, not even trying. Misery running for his life. If they could get this gem, that'll be so valuable for them. That actually, Misery getting caught up by his tier 1. He is Grave, so it's going to save him some time, but I don't think he's getting out of here. Owie rips him apart, picks up the gem for himself, then they get a free tower out of it.
Yeah, they do have to find that opening. Resolution actually managed it, then immediately after was crushed. Didn't have time to BKB, didn't have time to Sunder. So maybe a little bit of luck, but also perfect timing from MSS, getting the crush right after he popped the Manta. Didn't pop the BKB, so I guess was trying to save it, or maybe was going to pop it after he popped the Manta, but costing them quite heavily as they are going to lose the Roshan now. They do get all the lanes pushed in, but still very favorable trade for NP, and now the Storm almost has the Shivas after that as well, and the Lifestealer back in, going to continue to look for pickoffs, as the Ember has to be very careful right now for the rest of the game. He can always die to these Storm Lifestealer bombs, so NP after that, getting the Roshan, getting this tier 1 mid, being a little bit better in terms of how they stand in the game, so definitely very happy with that trade. They get a pick here on Sox now as well.
Oh man. Ping down, instantly taking him down. Yeah, we getting out of there. That was actually really brave of him to stick there and finish up the camp.
Yep, as now enemy moves down to this bottom lane, has the Yules, has the Aegis, still feeling very courageous, able to shovel these lanes extremely far.
He's not afraid of anything at this point.
Only 500 away from the Shivas now as well, so that's going to bolster his strengths a lot. It's going to give him considerably more burst damage versus Terror Blade, and it's going to help him survive as well as his team, because the slow working on the illusions quite well. Just overall a very nice pickup versus the Terror Blade and all of his physical damage. AoE. Also, you know, once again giving them vision, having that Shiva's massive AoE just flying through the map, you can sort of see where everyone is, so able to find this bounty hunter, find the Dazzle, and get on top of these squishier heroes and burst them down. He may zip down to bottom, get a kill on the Sox right here, but thinking better of it, getting back up to his team, so playing it safe. Didn't see several heroes and didn't know if they were baiting him down bottom.
And so it's feeling like DC, they've had problems with just clinching early victories. I mean, up until probably 5 minutes ago, it was very much DC's game. And now looks like they're sitting on the ropes, you know, on the back foot, because once again, Eternal Envy has gotten big. And this, I'm pretty sure this was evident as well at Dota Pit. Do you know much about like the players, like personally how they play? Is it just Are there? Is it not their patch? Is it not?
I mean, they just gave us some small pickups here and there, and I think their draft is still very, very strong right now, and they are looking for a fight.
Yeah, the
well
Radiant revealing with the scan.
It's the first
Envy is in. The Weave is up, though. Global Silence is also there. Terrorblade in the focus. He gets the Sunder off on MSS. Down falls the StarLadder. Now, big damage actually from that Leshrac as he's just standing there, nuking down everyone. Weave trying to take down SVG. He gets the chains off, so SVG also falls. That's a triple kill for Wee. Only person getting out of there is Envy, and that's because of that Aegis, right?
Yeah, that was so close. The Terrorblade almost going down, barely gets the Sunder off, and they turn the fight around immediately. And like we said, if the fight just goes extremely well for NP in the first 5 seconds, and this Terrorblade presses Sunder and they turn the fight around, they just slaughter everyone, which is exactly what happened. Just because...
Oh, Envy! Oh, actually, they gets him in the hook. Envy denying himself. He will be back in 30 seconds.
Doesn't have that buyback though, so they may lose 2 set of racks here, as Lifesteal doesn't have buyback either. All the supporting caps up, but neither of the cores. So it looks like they're just going to settle with 1 set and back up. That's how they're posturing, but it's definitely fine for them. It's a very, very good fight for DC. Helps them even further into the lead, picking up this racks. We having the Radiance now as well, so messing with the Slaughter's blink, maybe stopping a key initiation, it could potentially make a huge difference if the Slaughter misses a key crush or something.
Man, I feel bad for NP. That's some caster's curse right there. I'm like, oh, does DC have problems closing out? And then they just basically team wipe NP, with the exception of, you know, an Aegis respawn. Oh, I'm sorry, Envy.
Looks like he's actually going for the Hex instead of the Shivas, so realizing
That's smart.
that as long as they can see this Terrorblade, super important they can burst him down, as the Dazzle's still no way to charge up this global and really won't have a way until he gets that Lotus Orb, which he is working on now, has 1900 gold. So we'll have him for too long and, you know, give him even more armor and help him grave his Terrorblade to potentially turn around these fights. And that item is actually so huge for this Dazzle, it can massively change these team fights if he doesn't get jumped. Once he has that Lotus Orb, then he can always save his Terrorblade. And
we get the pings out. Very fast initiation. Once again, Misery will drop. A Light Stealer bomb.
A nice sentry. Can you just walk around, E and owie? Whole lot of damage between the 2 heroes. And you know, before they were walking around, he was running around in MSS, but now that Envy has quite a few items, he's running around instead and letting MSS maybe get some more items up and potentially scale better in the late game. But actually,
getting some high ground vision. The most surprising part is the Life Stealer. It feels like he spent more of this game inside of his teammates than farming, and yet he's, granted, not anywhere near as farmed as the Terrorblade, but he's got an okay amount of items and stuff.
Yeah, still has 208 last hits, has the 5 kills, 11 assists. They've taken some good fights, got a lot of pickoffs.
Yep, they catch out the Leshrac. He falls down. Rose paying the price for being a little bit out of position there. DC getting ready to push top.
Such a nice position from Envy. They're going to kill Misery again, running up here with this sentry. They only have a few seconds. They need to go quickly. They do get him.
Man.
And Gem as well.
During all of this, though, top getting sieged by Resolution. If anything, that might have just been a bait just to get the tower down. Oh, Envy and company, they're in. Resolution does have his BKB off. Everyone's just whipping around. AUI actually getting sundered there. Resolution still just gunning everyone down. Envy doing his best to not get killed. Down falls MSS. Is open wounds. We have buybacks from both the StarLadder and the Life Stealer, pushing DC out, but that's a set of racks down.
Yep, Johnson gets a crush on the Dazzle. Looks like he may fall, but
hook in onto the Life Stealer. Envy is in deep. He's turned him into a little piggy. Terrorblade doesn't have Sunder up for another 10. This is their time to take him down if they can. Can Envy do it? And there's the shallow grave. It's gonna maybe save him enough time. Yep, Resolution takes down Envy. Instant buyback. And there's the weave. Envy going in very, very deep. Resolution gets the Sunder off onto Envy, and he has no mana, no health. GG. One last final play, and it did not work in favor of DC. Missed hook shot there on Meander, not letting that go.
Yeah, just the way the drafts went. talking about, Terrorblade just scales so well against that initial jump style, along with the Dazzle. A really, really great response to what MP was going for, and they realized it quite early in the draft. That Dazzle pick paying huge dividends and snapping up the Terrorblade immediately after